Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' was cracking. It's D. Boss reacts to this vid by Honest. It's titled "The Doechii Hates." Okay, quite a few people told me to check this out, so yeah, we're gonna hear what he has to say about Doechii and the hate she's receiving. We're gonna hear his opinion. Let's watch.
Industry plant is a term that I really think has been worn to its last leg. It's always been a pretty
But y'all
popular
keep
term,
talking about it.
but
So
I
hey,
really think
here
the
we
internet
are.
has latched onto this phrase for any artist that gains popularity. And it's one of those phrases that have just been greatly mischaracterized. And I do think industry plants exist. An industry plant is someone that gives the illusion that they are a smaller artist doing a DIY, grassroots, and I think in recent history it'd be like a bedroom type of project. But in reality, there was always a label and major backing behind that artist. But we're going to sell the audiences the illusion that they're this struggling small timer to gain interest. That to me is the true definition of an industry plant. Faking an origin story, using the struggling artist come up as a costume, and they're just being deception in the way you're introduced to sell an image. Doechii is someone that is literally the exact opposite of that. Her come up, her social media presence, her playing the long game is verifiable, from old songs to old videos. In a sense, I feel like she's had a rise similar to Chaperone, where they've been bubbling and trying for years, and they finally reached the mainstream. But I think there's been a more intense vitriol for Doechii than people who have risen in the same vein as her. And I think there's a bunch of factors that lead to her receiving this type of vitriol, ranging from her being a black woman, and one that isn't ambiguous or light-skinned. Another thing is people not really taking to or understanding her more camp and avant-garde approach to her artistry. Like her breakout hit Denial is a River is not a song with a pop hook, it's quirky as hell, it's not an obvious radio hit or song. And obviously that one song doesn't represent Doechii entirely, but I think it's a style that some people aren't up to, which is why in some circles on the internet, she has been dismissed as making Harriet Tubman music.
That's so
which is
fucked up.
intended to be a diss towards her being more self-serious and embracing conscious rap as well. I just think people who say stuff like this are stupid, one, and two, have never actually listened to Doechii, or don't care to because she's not serving her music in a way that is easily digestible to them. It's also crazy because Doechii had a hit with What It Is, and it didn't garner as much backlash. A song that is more straight down the middle radio pop has a big hook, and I'm not sure if people are aware that it's Doechii that sung that song. I think one of the things that makes Doechii so different and feel like a breath of fresh air is that she embraces sexuality. She talks about like everyone else, but she also spills out her emotions. Like Denial is a River and Anxiety are literally just therapy sessions. But she's also fun and avant-garde and sexual. And I do think that is something that is needed for women in hip-hop at the moment. For a while, there seemed to be a monopoly over the subject matter that hit it big in the mainstream. But I really think Doechii is showing that there's a market, need, and money to be made, and women in rap not being pigeonholed to one thing. In general, I just think the tides are shifting in popular music across the board, where people are craving something different. People are ready to embrace the avant-garde again. I think Doechii is indicative of that change.
Bullshit.
I saw the internet turn out of favor for Doechii once she won her Grammy for Best Rap Album, becoming only the third woman to do so. This angered a lot of Future and Metro Boomin fans, since she won over their album, which was far more commercially successful, while Doechii was more of the critical favorite.
That album was fun.
Sometimes the Grammys can be unpredictable, but Doechii's album was much better, and I think well-deserved. And the hate seems to have just really kicked up from this Grammy win, which is predictable, especially if you're a woman in hip-hop getting such a high honor within the boys club. There's going to be some form of backlash. Then there's been a very intense conversation about her artistic identity, with people saying she's copying Azealia Banks, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat. The latter is the most shocking to me because I feel like Doechii and Doja have some of the same influences, and that's where the similarities begin and end. I do hear Nicki, I do hear Azealia in some of her earlier work. I also hear various other hip-hop icons that she tributed on her mixtape, and she has not been shy about who has influenced her. But I find it totally unfair and untrue to say that she's a copy of someone, because she definitely has her own thing going on and has stepped into artistic territory that some of her influences never have. She is an obvious talent, so I definitely think she has the will to hone in on herself. It's also interesting how cyclical the so-and-so copies this artist trope is. From Lil' Kim to Nicki, from Madonna to Gaga, from Michael Jackson to The Weeknd. There is always going to be someone that came before that is an obvious influence. That is just the name of the game. Very few people from the 90s onward can claim that they blazed a trail that is so unique that it doesn't stand on the backs of the people that came before them. And since we are in a transitional period, where the artists that ruled the 2000s and 2010s are starting to see their influence in the newer generation of stars, it's easier to point to references, especially because the 2000s and 2010 stars are also artists that fostered their careers
people
on the
taking
internet.
Inspiration from him.
First point of reference for a lot of people. So yeah, Doechii does have some similarities to her influences, as most artists do. But I don't think it deters from her talent and her own unique offering. You listen to Alligator Bites Never Heal, and no female rap album over the last decade sounds like that record at all. We also have the added fact of someone reaching a new level of success.
I love this look.
Naturally, people will fight to resist it. I think even more so since there's no heavy concrete counterculture anymore. Hating popular things or things that become popular is the new wave. And this is not to say you must like Doechii, you must like her music. If she isn't for you, that's completely fine. But I think discrediting her journey and work is not right. And then we have the case of Doechii appearing everywhere. On shows, on red carpets, in interviews. And I know this might sound crazy, so insane, and so unbelievable.
This is giving heavy Erykah Badu.
And I know this might sound crazy,
this look right here, I love this. Fire.
Insane.
All these are fire.
And so unbelievable. But promotion is a real thing. I know. Crazy, right? Labels are supposed to promote their artists. And I hate to break it to the hardheads, but every pop artist that you know, every artist you hear on the radio, every artist you see on a talk show, every icon from the 2010s and 2000s that you rave about have been promoted and have a label push. No superstar in history has become a superstar because people love them that much. They may stay a superstar because people love them that much, but they do not become one because of that. It's like your favorite artist did not sign a multi-million-dollar deal for the vanity of it. They want promotion. They want to be heard. Of course, there are factors like music and branding, but labels have an enormous hand in artists reaching audiences. Being promoted by a label does not mean you're an industry plant. It just means you have a label that believes in you and wants people to hear you.
Exactly.
And I think Doechii, of all people, is deserving of this push. She has worked so long.
Like, that's the whole point. That's their job. I don't understand. People are like, oh, they pushing too much. It's like, well, they're working because they do believe in her. So I do understand them doing that.
Been so consistent. It's her time to shine.
Period. I mean, yeah, we've already had this conversation. I have expressed similar thoughts as well. I need to put up that impressive video that I reacted to about this. So when you see that video, I reacted to that before this one. But it don't matter the order. Anyway, I'm doing a lot of pre-recording. So when you seeing random stuff and me like when different hairstyles and shit, I record a lot of videos prior to me going out of town. A lot of videos are like out of order for that reason, because I'm like really stocking up on reaction videos that I have. Anywho, yes, I've said similar things. For sure, I agree with pretty much everything that he said. I do hope that over time, especially when she drops her new album, people will chill on the hate and the industry plant talk and whatnot, and her talent will just speak for itself. But we will see what happens. Anywho, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!